Let's be completely honest here. Some years just suck. Some years are awesome. They are like dreams. And some years you feel like, man, if every year was like this, I would never have to work again. I call this growth, grind, and gratitude years. And we're going to talk about them right now in this video. Hello, welcome back to our channel. Thank you for being here. If you have not been here before, please consider clicking subscribe, like this video, and join us as we have our family journeys, our growth journeys on here, our mom journeys. If you're into mom content, I'm a mom of 4 boys. They are 6 and under. I just have a 3-week-old. He's actually right next to me right now as I film. So if you hear noises in the background, that's him. And we have fitness content, family content, and business content. So anything to just grow as basically entrepreneurs who have families that are chaotic and crazy. Today, we're going to talk about one of those topics that's entrepreneurial, but also family focused, which are your grind years, your growth years, and your gratitude years. So what do I mean by this? This is a concept I was throwing around in my head at the end of 2024, because I have had a whirlwind of years in the last 5 years, ever since really having my first son. He was born December 2nd of 2019. So basically, it's been 5 years, almost exactly, a little over 5 years now, since I've become a mom. And since becoming a mom, those 5 years have seemed like 15. I mean, the acceleration of life in those years have been insane. Years before that were fun, but they were very different, and there was still growth involved. There was still grinding involved, but it was very different. I'm going to rewind, fast forward to 2024. 2024 sucked. I mean, honestly, it was not a year that I would want to live again. It was a grind year. It was a grind year for sure. And I'll go into that after I explain what a grind year is. But there was just a lot of things that popped up that were unexpected. Financial hits, there were family-wise, there was fitness hits. I got surprise pregnant in May. So that was another hit that, even though that wasn't like something that sucked, it was just unexpected. So it wasn't in my plan, plans that we all like to do for the year. So yeah, the year was just not my best. And coming off of some really high years from 2020 to 2023, I feel like those were some of my best years. Lots of growth. We grew businesses, we grew income, our family. I mean, we grew everything in those years. And it was not like you kind of grew, it was accelerated growth. Like that was growth years. We hit that grind year, which if you are in business, you understand that you have scaling, then you have your plateau. And then if you want to scale again, you have to do something differently. So we started trying to do something differently last year. But that's kind of why the grind happened. So here's why we call it grind, growth, and gratitude. So grind, what do you think when you think grind? You think, man, you're working so hard and you're not seeing any results, and you feel like everything you're doing is just wrong. It's not going to amount to anything. Those little things that you do, you're like, dang, why did I spend 5 hours making this presentation and no one bit on my product offer, or no one bit on the capital I'm trying to raise for this real estate deal? Those things really hurt and they make you feel like crap. So that last year we had some of those things happen to us where we just felt like we were working. We almost had things come through and then they would just fall flat. And that sucks. It really does suck when that happens. So that's what a grind year is. It's when you feel like you're putting your best effort out there. You really are like, this is going to be so successful. This is the year I'm going to hit $1 million in my business, whatever it is. And you are having all these dreams and you're feeling good about it. Because that was the one thing. Last year, my mindset was very good. I was focused on, yes, we're going to do this. We're going to make all this happen. But it was just one hit after another hit after another hit. But we didn't give up. That is the key to a grind year. In a grind year, you got to keep grinding. You got to keep working. You got to keep putting the time in, putting the effort in, and get your mind right, because if your mindset's not good, you are not going to get past the grind year, and that's going to be your life. So if we see how, sadly, about 95% of Americans live, they grind until they die. I mean, that's sad. It's a sad life. Or they grind till they retire and they have a terrible retirement and they're just sitting at their house all day and they can't do anything because they don't have any money in retirement. That's not what we want. Eric and I have much bigger dreams than that, and much bigger just life goals and what we want our life to look like. So because of that, and because of the vision I have for what my life is going to be, I keep grinding. Even when it's hard, even when it sucks, even when you're pregnant and you're tired and you're hungry and you're angry and you're hormonal, I'm keeping grinding. Maybe we had a terrible day with the kids, but we still have business stuff we have to do. Bad days with the kids, you put them to bed, you get a reset tomorrow, and you just do your business stuff when the kids go to bed. Those things happen as parents. Sometimes things get pushed off until the kids go to sleep. Sometimes you don't have babysitting when you're thinking of babysitting. Sometimes school gets canceled, and then you have the kids all day, and you have to cancel meetings. All that stuff happens, and it feels like you're just grinding through the day, but you just got to make those things not affect you, at least deeply. You're always going to have that initial effect. You know, it's always going to be that emotional response. You're like, oh God, my day's ruined. But it's not. You can always make things happen. But in those grind years, those things just seem to happen again and again and again. And they really do get your motivation and your attitude down. But you might have one grind year. You might have two. You might have three. You might have four. You might have 5, 6, 7, 8. But if you keep grinding, they're going to equal to a growth year. So in that growth year, and I guarantee you, if you're grinding for a year or two, you're going to hit a growth year a lot sooner than people who haven't been grinding, who are just doing the status quo. In those growth years, that's when you see the big wins. Maybe your business takes off. You go from 50,000 to 100,000. Maybe you get a huge promotion at work. You double your income just by getting a promotion. Maybe it's a year that you buy a house and you buy your first investment property. There are so many things that could be that growth, that exponential like win of the year. And those are things you focus on in the growth years. And it's awesome because that is the payoff of all that grinding that you did. Now, here's the issue though with a growth year. You're going to have a couple of the growth years mixed in with grind years to really hit your gratitude year. Growth years are great, but you do plateau. And as humans, as entrepreneurs, as people who want more for their life, we are always going to want more and more and more. Our goalpost might be here right now, but after you hit that goalpost, you know it moves over here, and then it moves over here. Every time you hit a new goal, you're going to have something else that you want to do. I was always like, if my income, what I take home could be 50K, man, that's awesome. But once you hit that, you're like, that's not that great. Then you hit 100K, and I was like, yeah, that was pretty good. Like, it really is nice. It freed up a lot of things. But then once you hit that, you're like, okay, what's next? So you hit 150 and you're like, that's awesome. Like, this is going to change my life. But then you realize you're putting that money into other things to get your money working for you. And you're like, okay, well, now I'm going to need 200K so I can keep investing and keep, doing the things that I want to do, living the life that I want. So those growth years only can last so long. Usually they only last about a year. And then you're back in that grind because you want to keep improving. Now, if you're a person who wants to improve fast, you will not let a growth year just be a growth year. You can have a growth year be maybe the first month or two of a year, kind of like revel in, oh, yes, I hit my goal. But then you need to grind after that because you want to always be growing and improving. Now, sometimes you need a growth year to just be a pause year where you do take care of yourself. Maybe you haven't went on a vacation. Maybe you haven't been doing any self-care. Maybe you haven't been putting focus into your health as far as like exercise and eating well. Well, maybe you need that break in that growth year, and then your grind year can start the next year. Whatever that is, you got to analyze your own life to see, hey, am I comfortable right now? Is it a time that I can improve myself? And I should maybe back off a little bit with the business and how aggressive I've been with it. That's fine. Whatever that is, that's great. And in relation to being a parent, these growth years and grind years are usually related to how old your kids are. Because, I mean, for me, baby stage was pretty easy. You could do whatever you want in those baby stages. As you add more kids in, that's where the difficulty happens and that grind starts. As the kids get older and they start to have attitudes and they start to be people and they have emotions, that's when the grind gets harder. So you might have a great growth year in business, but you might have a grind year with your family. And that's the other split that can happen, is not everything's always going to 100% align. And some years it'll feel like a grind year, not because of how much money you're bringing in or how your business did or how you're doing in your job. It'll be because family just felt hard. And that's okay. That happens to everyone. Everyone has those hard years. Now, here is a year that you really want to get to. That is your gratitude year or years. Technically, once you hit the gratitude year, you never want to go back, because that is the year that you feel great in your family. You feel great in your business. It is sustainable. You have investments that are bringing money in. You don't have to work all the time. And maybe you want to work. Maybe you love your job, but you don't have that stress. If I don't work, I don't have money and I can't support my family. You don't have to worry about that. So gratitude years are those golden years. And that is where, if you're a person who really wants to have the life of your dreams, you want to hit that gratitude year as soon as possible. But they only happen if you've went through some grind year cycles, some growth year cycles, because that is the ultimate goal, is this gratitude year. You're living in the house you want. You're going on vacation when you want. You have the family that you've always dreamed of. Things are just flowing and they're going well. Now, just because you hit that gratitude year, though, doesn't mean years won't feel like a grind or a growth year sometimes, especially if you're a person who's very driven. You probably want to have some growth years, some grind years. But once you hit that gratitude year, you'll know what it feels like to relax. You'll know what it feels like to not be stressed out all the time about money and if you're working enough. And that is the ultimate goal here. So I'm hoping that for you, you hit that gratitude year as soon as possible, because I know that's my goal. I want to hit my gratitude years as soon as possible and never go back, right? I never want to go back. But I already know I definitely will be going back, because I like to work. I like to make things, and I like to live out my purpose, which is things like this, my YouTube channel, getting to talk to you guys and educate you about important topics like this. So yeah, that's my little formula for the years and how some years feel hard. Last year sucked for us because we had some financial hits for sure. We lost a huge client with my marketing business. We also had a wall collapse in our basement, which made our project of renovating our basement a lot more expensive than what it should be. We had some things break at our house that we had to replace. We had some really big issues with a home we are renovating, and now we are trying to rush and finish it this year because our HELOC is coming up as due for finishing that rental. We lost income because we lost clients, and we had all these other things that we were putting money towards. We also realized that financially we need to be more careful with tracking our money. I work for a company that's all about tracking your money and like making sure you have savings and things. So I should know that, right? But you get caught up in the day to day and you don't always think about that when you have these issues come up and you're like, okay, put that money here, put that money here, pay for this, pay for that. So now we're in that rebuild. This is going to be a little bit of a grind, at least at the beginning of the year. I'm hoping by the end of the year, we're in that growth cycle. I'm not hoping, we're going to get there, but we are going to grind the first few months so we can hit that growth cycle and then grind more, because we are not to that gratitude point yet. I'm hoping in the next 2 to 3 years, we've hit that gratitude point. And the more that we grind this year and have those growth cycles happen quickly, that is how we're going to get to where we want to be. So yeah, that is where we are at. And to be just fully transparent, like I said, last year was hard. It was hard in so many ways. But business, finance, and family were all hard last year. Already looking better this year, but it's one thing that is always evolving. And it's just not something that we want to talk about with people, but it is good to be transparent with that, at least with your friends, your family, whoever you trust, is to tell them how hard last year was or how good last year was, because being open about those things does help you have better years time and time again. Well, guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more. I will have more content related to mom, postpartum body journey, postpartum recovery, all the things related to being a mom, having a family of 4 boys now. Isn't it insane? 4 boys now. Well, guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.